And in my mind, I'm a blind man doing time.
Welcome back in. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. The NFL is back. We're talking with Geoff Shwartz now here in the Geico Outkick studios. I'm trying to catch my breath after getting upstairs. Don't want to pass out. I think it might happen sometime. I might pass out coming upstairs so fast. Have to sit down and talk on the radio. Geoff is with us now. Geoff, first of all, who's your Super Bowl pick right off the top here? No, before we get to Super Bowl picks, what does your wife spend money on that drives you crazy?
Everything. Like, she just decided the other day that we have like a little, we have a spiral staircase, and there's nothing right kind of like in the foyer right there. So she just one day just stuff started showing up, like just a chair and a table and a lamp. Like, we don't need any of that stuff. Like, there's no purpose for it. I'm looking at it right now. There's no purpose to have like a little sitting area there. No one's going to sit there ever. There's nothing to do there.
You should just like make that your location, just to drive her crazy. Now that you have a sitting area and a chair there, like, you should be like, I think this is going to be my office.
I'm not allowed to sit there, Clay. I'm not allowed to sit in a bunch of, like, she says that she wants our family room to look like no one actually sits in any of the furniture.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
So it's all the time on stuff. I mean, I guess I spend money too on stuff, but like just random stuff like that. She just gets bored and has to spend money. And what's funny, she works full time. I don't know why she gets so bored.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't understand it. We just did a big segment on like the thing that I do that I think that's the other question. We could probably do a whole show on this and just open up the phone line someday. But what is the thing you do that is the most dad thing that you do? Like, to me, the most dad thing that I do is turn out the lights all over the house. Like, after my kids go in and leave a room, they never turn the lights out. Like, I just walk around turning out lights all day. And I'm like, this is the most dad thing that I do.
Oh, that's a good question. The most dad thing I do. Before we go to bed every night, I walk around and check the doors, make sure they're locked. I mean, I feel like that's a normal thing to do. Oh man, my wife! I should put my wife on the phone. I don't know what. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I just do normal stuff, and I'm sure there's a dad thing I do in there.
I mean, my dad. Here's a good example of a dad thing. You just talked about walking around checking the doors. My parents live in our neighborhood, so they live in a condo. I mean, they obviously don't have kids. Like, their lifestyle is not as wild as ours. So a lot of times we leave, and we go on vacation or we're out of town for a weekend or something, and my dad will come over and he walks around our house and checks to see if we have locked all the doors in the house. And that's like, he's literally still following around. And actually, so we have a garage with like a garage door opener, and we will leave the door inside of the garage unlocked.
Yes.
He has locked us out on vacation like 3 or 4 times, where we come back home from vacation, like we have a car at the airport or whatever. We pull in, open the garage, get out, like, or driving somewhere or whatever, and we try to get into our house, and my dad has locked us out of our own house. Like, so we have to call my dad to come back over and actually let us back in the house, because he just goes around locking all the doors in my house all the time. And then he'll talk to other people and be like, I went by Clay's house. They went on vacation. There were 3 unlocked doors in the house. Like, he keeps track of how many doors are locked or unlocked in the house. Like, when we leave, he comes over. He has a key to the house. He unlocks it. He walks in. He just walks around trying to see whether or not the doors are locked.
I don't have a house key on my keychain.
I don't either.
So basically, I either just, we have like codes for doors and stuff. So like, if the battery would go out on the lock or the alarm system like went to haywire, I wouldn't get in my house.
I mean, we go in and out through our garage, so I have an opener, on the garage door.
Right.
But every now and then, like, I'll get back and, I'll like my kid will take the garage door opener to go play with his friends or something, and it won't put it back in my car. And sometimes I'll just pull up and I can't get in my house. And so I'll just be like, it's not like I have a business to run or anything else, and I'm just sitting outside of the house waiting for somebody else to come back and let me in.
Yeah, why don't you can get one of those? You have to get one of those things where you the code you have on the side of the door. You can put a code in.
Yeah, but I don't trust anything that has technology in it. I know we talked about doing that, but like, inevitably something goes wrong. Like, the other day, the fire department showed up at my house and the police and everything. I was like, what in the world's going on? and it was because we have an alarm that I didn't know was working, and like it had gone off, and then I don't answer phones if somebody's trying to call me from a number that I don't recognize because I'm afraid it's some radio show and they want me to come on. So unless I have your name programmed in my phone, I will not answer the phone if it rings. So they were trying to call me, and then I don't know the password anyway. So like I wouldn't be able to. I don't know what the password is on our alarm. So I come out of the shower, and like the firemen, they're all there, like in the house. And
you don't even know you don't know, like I at least know I don't have the security app on my phone. My wife does. Like I can't control the cameras or the alarm from my phone. But I at least know like the 4-digit passcode.
Oh no, I don't have any idea. Like I don't want any information that is like extraneous that I'm responsible for. Like I just went downstairs right now, and my wife was like, "Hey, did you just change the cable package?" I'm like, I have no idea how to change the cable package. So inevitably, like she spent 2 hours on the phone with Comcast the other day because this is actually pretty funny, and they should spend money again with me. I got a promotional rate on Comcast because I was doing ads for them on local radio like 8 years ago. And they didn't realize that I wasn't still doing ads for them. So I got the promotional rate for like 8 years in a row. Like I got every channel. I got like everything, like for 8 years in a row. And then we got an email the other day from Comcast, and they were like, "Hey, we realized that you haven't been doing ads for us for 7 years, and you've still been getting the promotional rate. Like we're going to have to end your promotional rate." And my wife came in, and she was like, "You need to get Comcast to spend more money with you because we're using Comcast." And I was like, I don't know how that stuff works. And I was like, she was like, "Well, we're going to have to pay, whatever our full rate is now." It didn't end up being, like an exorbitant number.
Ridiculous.
But
yes.
I was like, that, like, in order to try to get Comcast to spend money, first of all, I don't do ad sales for the radio show, but inevitably I'm not going to give away, ads on the show for a relatively small amount of money so that we get free cable. Yeah,
correct.
But anyway, especially not after we got basically 8 or 9. It might be 10 years that we've been getting free basic Comcast because we were on as a promoter.
That's incredible. Good for you.
So they finally caught me, and I was like, my wife was like, "Well, what are you going to say?" And I was like, I can't believe it took them 10 years to realize that I wasn't doing ads for them. So
that's the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, I basically put my kids through college without having to pay for cable. All right, so your brother is playing tonight for the Chiefs. All right, bigger storyline Friday. What happens before the game or the game itself?
It's a good question. I think it's a valid question. I will say the game itself because I don't know how much they're going to show the kneeling. Like we had a period, obviously, in 16-17 when it was showed often. Players were still kneeling last year. It just wasn't shown on TV. Now the question becomes, obviously, we've had an off season where we've had a lot of unrest in our country, and I would imagine that I think it's NBC tonight. They would discuss it a little bit, but I'm curious to see how much they show of it. I mean, look, they're going to show the anthem because it's the first game of the year, so we're going to see some kneeling, obviously, during the anthem. But it's up to them to figure out how much they want to talk about it, right? I mean, Collinsworth and Michaels don't have to talk about it if they don't want to, or maybe they're
going to be terrified. They're two old white guys. They're going to be terrified if they don't talk about it that they're going to get ripped to the high heavens. So they're going to have some sort of awkward, scripted conversation about how awful they feel about racism.
But if it's one time, if it's like at the start of the game and they address it then and the game then moves on, I think they'll be fine. I think then we'll talk about the game once.
Have you talked about this with your brother at all? Like, do you think the whole team's going to make it like kneel? Like,
I have no idea. I mean, the Chiefs in general are a conservative franchise, and I do not think that they would. I think the owner would allow it, but I don't think that it would be something that would be. I don't know what's the right word to say, but they would allow it if the players want to do it, but they would probably encourage them not to. And we'll see. Look, a lot of this is the thing. A lot of players at the time, when the NBA was coming back, in May and June, and there was a lot of talk about social justice and how the players were going to handle it. A lot of players said, "Look, I'm going to take a knee." I mean, Bill O'Brien said, "I think the head coach of Texas was like, I'm going to take a knee." It's been months now. I'm curious to see if Bill O'Brien's going to do it. First of all, whether or not players are still as passionate about taking a knee. I think they're still passionate about the topic, obviously, but taking a knee is a whole different story. So I'm curious to see what happens. But I'll
By
tell
the way,
you all along, man.
can you come back with us to talk about the actual game in the final segment?
Yes.
All right, we're going to be joined by Geoff Shwartz. We're talking about the return of the NFL. But first, a word from farmers.